Hope I got this squared up right. Welcome to Down the Road with Brian Mallard, and today we got David again, and we're continuing our exploration of this Linwood Cemetery in search of the drowning victims. And guess what? This episode may wrap up this particular series in the search of the drowning victims because David found them.
Yeah, hi. We were real diligent about, we looked out here high and low. We got maps. We did everything. We did all the research we could do. So finally, actually, a video I posted about the cemetery, the lady that's the director of the Linwood Preservation Foundation, Ms. Davis, I believe was her name, she contacted me and she loved the video. And I asked her about the whereabouts of this location. So she actually told me, and so she gave me the lot number. So through trial and error, we kind of figured out exactly about where it was. And so now we're going to go and actually go on the ground and actually find what she told me, the direction she gave me. So let's wish us luck, guys. If you notice, the location she gave us, we've walked through this area several times, but there was no official marker to let us know that was the location. But we're right here in the middle of some very influential families in the community. I mean, you've got the Swift family, the Bickerstaff family, Spencer, the Jordan family. Over here you have the Huff family, the Chancellor family, Dykes. I mean, these are all names of businesses that are now thriving, and companies and people that this is their forefathers that set forth and started these businesses. And these drowning victims didn't even live in Columbus. They lived in Juniper, Georgia. And from what I'm gathering of what Brian and I have researched, their family owned a grist mill, if I'm not mistaken, out there. And when the dam broke, these two girls, I guess it's a mother and a daughter, I think is who it is, they actually drowned in the dam break, and they were flushed downstream.
I'm a little confused because the person that told Stacy about these graves was coming up here on his lunch break from where they work, and he said that he saw some drowning victims that had drowned in Lake Bottom Park, which is what I had said on the first episode. It's turning out that these drowning victims drowned in Juniper and not at Lake Bottom after all, which leads me to wonder two things. One, is there another set of drowning victims? Also, how did he know if he was just looking at gravestones other than there must have been some kind of information on the gravestones? So I am a little bit confused. However, we don't have any more information than that. So what we're going to do is look at these graves because they did drown. They are drowning victims. And there might be a little mystery for us to solve later on down the road. But today we're going to do these people a little bit of honor and bring their story to light as much as we can. All right, let's see if we can find these graves. Please excuse this massively overexposed clip. It does get better. Oh yes, I do believe. Wow.
I guess this was Robert was the patriarch, or William was the patriarch. 1902, 1904. So this was probably the matriarch and patriarch. Robert and Sarah was probably the mother and father. And I assume William, I can't read those names, but these were the daughters that died, if I'm not mistaken, because looking at the dates that they died, 1st of July 1925, 1st of July 1925. Janie, Rainey, and Delia Rainey, okay.
So the
these were the two that drowned right here.
And the era is correct. A little bit.
But now at one time there might have been a marker out here. I don't see a place where there would have been one, so how would he have known that these were drowning victims? Unless, like you say, there might be some more victims somewhere that we just haven't ran across. And when I talked to the director, she was looking specifically for these. Those other drowning victims might have been more recent, or maybe could have been in the same time frame, but she just didn't recall.
Yeah.
So we're still looking for that to verify that these are the ones we in fact are looking for.
Yes.
Because how would he have known that they drowned anywhere unless
he
had some kind of epitaph or something that dictated that? Which that might somewhere be out here.
Yeah, could be.
We just hadn't ran across it because it's 4.5 acres of cemetery here. So
that's a lot.
And we've walked by these several times and didn't know because there's no marking.
Right, exactly.
So,
I will start over here with this one. William Warwick Rainey, November the 5th, 1875, December the 8th, 1940. Jenny Burns Rainey, wife of W.W. Rainey,
that was this gentleman's wife. So this was the matriarch.
Yeah. April 22nd, 1884 to July the 1st, 1925. Delia Rainey, daughter of W.W. and J.B. Rainey, January 29th, 1910, July the 1st, 1925.
Now this gentleman here, Robert, must have been the oldest brother because he's older than Delia.
Okay, yeah. Robert A. Rainey, November 4th, 1906, January the 6th, 1945.
I take that back. William must have been the oldest brother. This plot gets thicker, folks. Looking at the dates, he had to have been the oldest brother because he was born in 1902.
William Burns Rainey, August 11th, 1902, February the 8th, 1989. And Sarah Kelly Rainey, wife of W.M.B. Rainey.
William Rainey.
Yeah.
This gentleman here.
April 15th, 1904, July the 1st, 1925.
She died way younger than he did.
It's fascinating.
It is. I mean, you look at the history here and it's like, wow. But the thing is to see a family like this that went so many different generations and they're just in a place like this now and looking at the grave, nobody visits it anymore. I mean, their family, there's probably cousins that probably don't even know they exist out here.
Mm-hmm. And that's probably the case with a lot of the graves out here.
I'm sure.
Okay, so I have here some information about the Raineys. This is information that David, who is currently holding the camera, looked up and sent me. And this is a news article. Women drown in Georgia Lake. Columbus, Georgia, July 1st. 3 women were drowned here this afternoon, and the dam of a lake in which they were bathing broke and swept them down a swollen stream. The dead, Mrs. W.W. Rainey, Sr., wife of the Vice President and General Manager of the National Showcase Company of this city. I remember the Showcase Company, but I'm not sure what it was. Her daughter, Miss Della Rainey, and Mrs. W.W. Rainey, Jr. Sarah Rainey, aged 9, a 4th member of the bathing party, managed to cling to the timber of the broken dam and was saved. All the bodies were recovered a few feet below the dam, but efforts to resuscitate proved futile. Death resulted either from drowning or from blows from floating timbers. And this is apparently what happened in Juniper. So David, what do you say we do a little hop, skip, and jump out to Juniper and see if we can find the spot where they drowned?
Well, I know where the dam currently is now. It's actually, they call it a spillway. So we'll go out there and search around and see if we can poke. And there's also an old coffin factory. I don't know if there's any remnants of it left. And this little chapel, if you can look right over there, Brian, that little chapel was originally where we're fixing to go to.
That's right. Yes, this chapel was moved here from Juniper in the 1980s. So the one who discovered these graves noticed the same death date on 3 stones and researched. There was never a marker. Since filming, I ran across W.W. Rainey's obituary, which can be found easily online. Their company, the National Showcase Company, built this building, among others. The drowning occurred in Juniper, but the family apparently lived in Columbus. Or Juniper, I really don't know. There were 3 women drowned, Delia, Sarah, and Mrs. W.W. Rainey. One, also named Sarah, survived. I gather she is buried in her own family plot, as she was only 9 at the time. I don't know what her future held. Hopefully it was a happy one. It was a terrible tragedy, and I can only imagine the horror with which the news must have been relayed. W.W. Rainey apparently remarried at some point and had a new family. So we're on our way to Juniper to see if we can find the spot where it actually occurred. So we're in the area, and David is pointing out some things. We're trying to find the place with the old church, but as you can see,
everything has been blocked off.
There's a lot of, like with so many areas around this area, a lot of people have moved in and staked their claims. So a lot of the stuff is not accessible anymore.
You know, we used to be able to go down this way. There's an old coffin factory back that way.
Wow.
And I don't know if we can still get back there or not. I'm going to get up here and get off the road so we can get off this thing. And I'll try to drive up here to the spillway to see if it's accessible. If it's not, I've got a drone to access it.
Ooh, right. Juniper Mill Pond Road. That is cool.
And the gate is closed. Now this gate has been open for the longest time, and through that gate you can access the spillway, which goes right down to it, which is right there. Is there a lock? There's no lock on that gate, is there? It just says no trespassing, so we don't think.
There is a lock. So far it's not looking too good. But wait,
right there.
There's a road with no gate, no
Go up
signs.
in there and see if we can find anything.
Interesting. Okay, so we've stepped out of the car, and after much insect repellent, disgusting insect repellent, we're going to see if there's anything we can see up in here.
There is definitely snakes out here. Water moccasins, rattlesnakes. I know there was an old home site up in here someplace at some point.
We proceed cautiously. It's summer and snakes are active. We spot something. A last remnant of a community long gone. It sure is. Boards over there. I see bricks like part of a chimney falling over. It's through a fence, so I'm not going to climb the fence, but I see a piece of tin, bricks, and a lot of boards.
You can see there's a fence there too. Right?
Yeah.
So at one time that might have been the house that was for sale here.
Yeah.
Because you can tell that's a home site because they had a little picket fence around, a little metal wrought iron fence around it.
Yeah.
Well, in this area somewhere was supposed to be Juniper, obviously it's Juniper Mill Pond Road, so the mill was up in this area somewhere.
The interesting thing is that what we're walking through now is actually the real life, although current day, connection to the people we just saw in Linwood. Like, this was their community. This is where those people
lived. As you can see, now this tree here, look at this tree. That's a magnolia tree. 100 years ago, that tree was probably the size of one of these. I mean, because this was their yard, because you can tell by the fence that's around it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a massive magnolia tree. That thing's well over 100 years old.
Trees like this are usually a dead giveaway that there was once human activity. And this giant magnolia tree is right beside the ruins of that house. This is just the driveway to the home site. We had hoped the road would provide access to the spillway.
If all these trees weren't there then, but the lake is right over here.
Oh yeah, you can see it's very close. Where it just slopes downhill. This is a pretty sizable bluff, actually.
Some bricks, so there was evidently some kind of structure here at one time. And that was obviously a home site.
Nothing left to explore, it's just a pile of rubble.
Yeah.
Probably a sizable house, but yeah, this is their driveway.
What if this was a grave? Look at that, how that's indented like this. This was maybe a little cemetery that we're standing on, maybe?
I'm thinking more along the lines of it being maybe where a tree was uprooted.
Yeah, it could have been possibly, yeah.
But there are bricks here, which potentially, I guess potentially could have been part of a grave, but just right in the driveway seems an odd spot for it.
Yeah.
But we were in Juniper. We passed a railroad track some time back because Juniper has long not existed anymore.
Some more of it back over there, maybe. You can tell out here how nature reclaims everything over time. It just reclaims itself back.
It does indeed.
I'm surprised this road is still here.
Yes.
But it was probably so well traveled that it just it's taking its. But you can see it's starting to grow up somewhat. But it might still have traffic up and down it. Who knows?
This is a small little bit of evidence of life here from before, but we're going to check out some other stuff. We drive up the road a little. David lived here years ago and knows his way around.
And this used to be a dirt road when I lived here.
Dead end.
Yep.
That's what we're looking for. In our line of work, dead end is actually usually a pretty good sign.
Yeah. This was some great hunting ground. My wife and I used to go hunting up in here all the time. Oh, they've really changed. They really made it a dead end now, didn't they? It used to be you could drive on for a while. You still can. I think this is
Proper
private
property.
Yeah.
No trespassing.
Yeah, I'm just going to back up right here. You used to get to go all the way down to the end of the road, which I think you still can. I'm just... darn it, they done blocked everything off out here where you can't really. We used to go swimming down there.
We get a glimpse of the lake and then make our way back out. So I've passed the road numerous times that say Juniper that way, and I always assumed Juniper was like, you know, a curve in the road where Juniper used to be. There's actually a lot more out here, modern civilization wise, than I would have expected. And all the places that the access to the research we're trying to do are kind of blocked off, so there's not really much I can show you. I can, however, show you pictures of Juniper Pass. Hopefully, John Posey won't mind. Here's your credit, John. The lake, the mill, the coffin factory, a house, possibly the ruin we saw, the dam that burst, flooding the Rainey women. This is not where it happened, but it's pretty. It was water at least connected to this water somehow that those people drowned in. Not that water exactly.
No.
It was a spillway.
That water feeds into the lake.
Yeah.
That's just one of the tributaries.
Okay, so that water feeds into the lake. The spillway from the lake goes down, and that's where they were swimming.
It's a Eupatory Creek. This Lake Juniper feeds into Eupatory Creek, which is where the dam was that broke.
Gotcha. Okay, for the grand finale of sorts, I'm walking down to the creek that the Raineys buried at Linwood Cemetery drowned in. For that, I have to walk along the highway and make my way down to the bridge. And here, to the best of our research, right up under those trees, there's a spillway, and above it is a lake. In the 1920s, the Rainey women were swimming or bathing in this creek, and a dam gave way, flooding them, drowning them, bludgeoning them with debris. It cannot be seen from the road. You need a bird's eye view. David's drone sails up over the once town of Juniper, and here you see the lake. Here is the spillway, as it looks today, and the dam that broke in 1925. The place where they died. Today it's a place of leisure. Now we are able to see a larger story. This brings us to the end, or rather the beginning, of the story of some of the graves in Linwood Cemetery. On location, as close as we can legally get. If you can hear it in the distance, the water still falls today. I've come to the end of what I can explore on foot. There's more no trespassing signs out here than a military installation. But that's the case with a lot of these old towns and communities. They disappear, and then in recent eras, people have bought up a lot of land and settled them, so we don't trespass. But the story's told.